Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to today's story. This is not just a story, it's a lesson in love, pain, and strength. If you've ever trusted someone and felt your heart break, if you've ever asked, why me? Then maybe you will understand Emily. So take a deep breath, listen closely, repeat the words, and follow every emotion. Because this is more than English practice. This is real life. Now, let's begin. My name is Emily Parker. I never thought this would happen to me. I believed I had a perfect life. I thought my husband was my forever. But everything changed. On one rainy night in New York, it was cold outside. I sat by the window, watching the rain hit the glass. The city lights looked like stars on the ground. I held a warm cup of tea in my hands. I was waiting for my husband, Jason, to come home. We had been married for 3 years. Jason was tall, handsome, and charming. He worked as a marketing manager. I still remember when he proposed to me. It was on the beach in California. He gave me a red rose. Soft music played from his phone. He looked into my eyes and said, "You are my dream. My everything." At 25, I thought I had the dream life. A loving husband, a cozy apartment in Manhattan, and my own small bakery that I started last year. I felt happy. Or at least I thought I was. But something changed. For the past few months, Jason acted different. He came home late. He said it was just work. He stopped looking into my eyes. He no longer kissed my forehead at night. Our love life was not the same. He didn't touch me like before. His warmth felt cold. I told myself, he's just tired. It's work stress. But deep inside, my heart whispered something else. It said, Emily, he's hiding something. That night, I waited for him until midnight. Jason walked in. He smelled like expensive perfume, not mine. His shirt was half buttoned. His hair was messy, and his smile looked fake. "Sorry, babe," he said, avoiding my eyes. We had a late meeting. I nodded. I didn't want to fight, but my chest felt heavy. I followed him to the bedroom. He took a shower. Then he went to bed. I watched him close his eyes. I wanted to ask, "Are you seeing someone else?" But I stayed quiet. I lay beside him, pretending to sleep. My heart was loud. I wanted to believe in his love, but something inside me was breaking. 2 weeks passed. Jason kept acting strange. He took his phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. He never did that before. He smiled at messages, but never told me what they were. He started wearing new shirts. He changed his cologne. It wasn't the one I gave him. I tried to stay calm and I told myself, don't worry, but my heart kept whispering, something is wrong. One evening, Jason was in the shower. I saw his phone on the table. I knew it was wrong, but my hands moved before I could stop them. My fingers shook. I opened his messages, and there it was. A message from a woman named Sabrina. "Last night was amazing. Babe, I miss your touch already." And I stopped breathing. My eyes stared at the screen. I kept reading more messages, more photos, more words I thought he only said to me. "Can't wait to see you again. You look so hot in that red dress." My legs felt weak. I dropped the phone. I sat on the bed. My hand held my chest. I was trying to breathe. Tears rolled down my face. My lips were shaking. And I whispered, "Why, Jason, why did you do this to me that night?" I acted like nothing happened. I smiled. I cooked dinner. He didn't notice anything. At night, we made love. For the first time in months, he touched me like before. His hands were warm. His lips were soft. And for a moment, I wanted to believe it was real. But I knew it was a lie. Afterwards, I lay beside him. I listened to his breaths. I stared at the ceiling, and I asked myself, How can someone love two women at the same time? The next day, he told me he had a meeting at 6 p.m. I smiled and nodded, but I had a plan. When he left, I followed him. I wore a black coat. I tied my hair. I got in a cab and followed his car. He drove to a hotel in Brooklyn. I watched him park. He walked in smiling. A few minutes later, a woman in a red dress walked up to him. She kissed his cheek. It was her, Sabrina. I had seen her photo in the messages. They walked into the hotel together. My world crashed. But I didn't cry. I just stood there, frozen, staring at the hotel door. I thought, what did I do wrong? I gave him everything. My love, my trust, my body, and in return, he gave me betrayal. That night, he came home with flowers. For you, babe, he said. I smiled. Thank you, I replied softly. He had no idea. He didn't know I had seen it all. I walked to the bedroom, closed the door, and cried into my pillow. My whole body shook. I screamed without sound. I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were red. My lips were dry, and I asked, am I not enough? The next morning, I opened my diary, and I wrote, he cheated on me, but I still love him. Why do hearts stay where they get hurt the most? I didn't know what to do. Should I leave him? Should I fight for him? Or should I stay quiet and let the pain eat me from the inside? I felt lost. But I knew one thing. My life was not the same, and I could never look at Jason the same way again. The morning felt cold. Jason was in the shower, singing like everything was fine, but inside me, nothing was fine. My heart was bleeding. I made coffee with shaking hands. Every sip reminded me of the hotel, the red dress, the lies. He walked out of the bathroom with a towel around his waist, smiling. You look beautiful this morning, he said, kissing my cheek. That kiss felt like poison. Thanks, I whispered. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the coffee in his face. But I stayed quiet because I was planning something. I needed answers. I needed to hear the truth. From his own mouth, that evening, I told him, let's have dinner at home. I miss our time together. He smiled. Sure, he said. I cooked his favorite dinner, grilled salmon with garlic butter. I wore a soft red dress, the same one I wore on our honeymoon. I brushed my hair, the way he used to love. I sprayed a light perfume, the one he gave me 2 years ago. He walked in, and his eyes widened. Wow, he said, you look amazing. I smiled. We sat at the table. We ate. We laughed. I acted like the perfect wife. But inside, I was counting the minutes, waiting for the right time. After dinner, we moved to the couch. He poured us both some wine. He leaned in and kissed my lips. I let him. His hand slowly touched my waist. He whispered, I missed you. Baby? That word, baby. It used to feel warm. Now, it felt fake. I pulled away gently. Jason, I said softly, do you love me? He looked surprised. Of course I do. I looked into his eyes. Then why are you sleeping with another woman? He froze. His smile disappeared. His hand dropped from my waist. His eyes went wide. What are you talking about? I stood up. My hands were shaking. I saw the messages. I followed you to the hotel. I saw her. The red dress. The kiss. Everything. Silence. He looked like someone had punched him. Emily, he said. I can explain. No, I said. Don't lie to me now. Just tell me the truth. He looked down. Then he spoke. I never planned this. I don't even know how it started. It was just something that happened at work. She was there when I felt stressed. She made me feel good. I didn't mean to fall into it. I swear I laughed. But it wasn't a happy laugh. She made you feel good. And what about me? I was here, waiting, loving you, trusting you. What about my feelings? He looked up. His eyes were red. I'm sorry. Emily, I messed up. I know I did, but I still love you. I never stopped loving you. Then why did you kiss her, touch her, sleep with her? I shouted. He didn't answer because there was no answer that could fix what he broke. I walked into the bedroom and closed the door behind me. I locked it. Jason stood outside, knocking. Please, Emily, open the door. Talk to me. But I stayed silent. I sat on the floor, hugging my knees. I cried all night. The pillow was wet with tears. I felt like I was disappearing, like I was no longer me. The next morning, he had already left for work. The house felt quiet, empty. I sat on the couch, holding our wedding photo. I stared at it. I remembered the day he said, "I will never hurt you." Now, that promise felt like a joke. I packed a small bag, just a few clothes, my diary, and my pain. Then I left. I went to my best friend, Mia's apartment. She opened the door and saw my face. She didn't ask anything. She just pulled me into a hug. "You can stay here as long as you need," she said softly. "You don't deserve this." Emily, I nodded, but I couldn't speak. I just sat by her window and cried again. Days passed. Jason called. He texted. He sent flowers. I'm sorry. His messages said, "I miss you. Please come home." But I didn't reply. I needed time. Time to breathe. Time to think. Time to find myself again. One evening, Mia and I sat on her balcony. The city lights were soft. The air was cool. She looked at me and asked, "Do you still love him?" I nodded slowly. "Yes, I do. That's the problem. I love him so much it hurts." She held my hand. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Emily, do you love yourself too?" That question hit me hard. I froze. I had always been the sweet girl, the perfect wife, the one who forgives. But what about me? What about the girl inside who deserved honesty? What about my heart, my worth? I had forgotten myself. The next day, I called Jason. I asked him to meet me at a small cafe, quiet, calm. He came. He looked tired. His eyes were red, his face full of guilt. We sat across from each other. "I'm sorry," he said again. "I know," I replied. "I want to fix this. Emily, I'll do anything. Therapy, honesty, anything you ask." I looked at him. I still loved him. "But love is not enough." I said, "Jason, I still love you, but I need time. I need space. I need to learn how to trust again, how to love myself again." He nodded. "I understand. I'll wait. I'll be here." That day, something changed. We didn't go back to how things were, but we took the first step, not as a perfect couple, but as two people who still wanted to try. 1 month later, I moved back home. It wasn't easy. I was scared. I was still hurt. But deep down, I wanted to try. Jason met me at the door. He didn't smile. He didn't rush to hug me. He just said, "Thank you for coming back." We started couples therapy. Every week, we sat in a small room with a kind woman named Angela. She listened. She asked questions. She gave us space to speak. At first, it was hard. I didn't want to open my heart. Jason didn't want to talk about the affair, but we stayed session after session. We talked, we cried, we yelled. One day, I looked at him and said, "I still feel broken." And he replied, "I know, and I will do whatever it takes to help you heal. That was the first time I felt a small piece of trust return. At home, things were different. We were not romantic right away. We were not like before. Sometimes I hated him. Sometimes I missed him so much. I wanted to hold him forever. It was confusing. It was real. We started doing small things together again. Watching movies, cooking dinner, taking short walks at night. Jason was patient. He didn't ask for love. He didn't ask for more. He just stayed. One evening, I found him sitting alone on the floor of our living room. He was crying. I sat next to him. He said, "I feel like the worst man in the world. You hurt me," I said softly. "But I also see you trying." He looked at me. He took my hand. "Emily, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. I was stupid, but I want to be better, not just for you, but for me." That night, we held each other in silence. No kissing, no touching, just holding. And somehow, that meant more. Weeks passed. Our therapist gave us small tasks. Write letters. Take time to listen. Speak without anger. Slowly, we began to understand each other in a deeper way. Jason opened up. He talked about his stress, his fear of failure, his loneliness. I listened. I started to see the man behind the mistake. And one night, something changed. We were sitting on the balcony. The sky was full of stars. He looked at me. I looked at him. He leaned in. He kissed me. Gently, with no pressure. This time, I kissed him back. It wasn't about the body. It was about trust. About two hearts trying to meet again. We made love that night. Slowly. Honestly, for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was pretending. There were no secrets between us. Only truth. Only hope. After that night, things didn't suddenly become perfect. But something was different. We were finally honest. No more hiding. No more pretending. Every morning, Jason made coffee for me. He left little notes on the table. Simple words like, "I'm proud of you," or "I'm grateful for your heart." At first, I didn't know how to feel. Some days I smiled. Other days I cried. Because healing doesn't come fast. It takes time. And trust grows slowly, like a seed in the ground. One evening, we sat on the couch and looked at our wedding album. We saw the photos, the beach, the flowers, the smiles. "Do you think we can be that happy again?" he asked. I looked at the photo of us laughing on the sand, and I said, "No, but maybe we can be something better. Something real." He nodded, and for once, he didn't try to fix it. He just held my hand. We kept going to therapy. Some sessions were peaceful. Some were hard. One day, Angela, our therapist, asked me, "Emily, do you forgive him?" I stayed quiet. Then I said, "I'm not sure, but I'm trying." That was my truth. And that was enough for now. Jason looked at me. "I don't expect you to forgive me today. I just want you to know that I'll keep showing up." At home, we learned how to talk again. Real talk. Not just about the weather or what to eat, but about fear, dreams, and pain. We shared more than we ever had before. I told him how lonely I had felt, how many nights I cried without saying a word, how I started to believe I wasn't good enough. He listened, and his eyes filled with tears. "You were always enough. Emily, I was the one who failed, but I want to be the man you believed I was." One morning, I looked in the mirror and saw something different. My eyes were stronger. My back was straighter. My heart still hurt. But it was beating with purpose. I was learning how to love myself again, not as a wife, not as a partner, But as a woman, as Emily, people think healing means forgetting, but that's not true. Healing means remembering without breaking. I remembered the pain, the messages, the hotel, the red dress, but now I also remembered his face. When he said, "I'll do anything to fix this," I remembered how he stayed, how he cried, how he held my pain like it was his own. Some nights I still woke up crying, but now I didn't cry alone. Jason would pull me close and whisper, "It's okay. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." And slowly, I started to believe him. Jason and I were not the same couple anymore. We had changed. We had been hurt, but we were still here, still trying, still holding on. Every day felt like a choice to stay, a choice to trust, a choice to love again. Love wasn't easy anymore. It wasn't just flowers and kisses. It was showing up even when it hurt. We had rules now, new rules, rules to protect our hearts. Rule 1, always tell the truth, even if it's hard, even if it might hurt. Rule 2, talk before the silence grows too big. If something feels wrong, say it. Don't wait until it becomes pain. Rule 3, never stop asking, "How are you really feeling today?" One night, we sat on the floor with pizza boxes, talking like two old friends. Jason looked at me and said, "Do you ever wish we could erase what happened?" I thought for a moment. Then I said, "No, because if we erase the pain, we'd erase the truth too. And now, at least, we're real." He nodded, and for the first time, I saw peace in his eyes. We had stopped pretending, and that, to me, was love. I went back to work at my bakery. The smell of fresh bread, the sound of customers, the joy of baking. It all made me feel alive again. Jason started walking me to work. He didn't say much. He just held my hand. Sometimes, small things matter most. A hand to hold, a quiet walk, a cup of coffee waiting in the kitchen. He wasn't trying to impress me. He was just being present. One morning, as we walked to the bakery, he stopped suddenly. He looked at me and said, "I don't deserve your love, but I will spend my life trying to be worthy of it." I smiled. "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real." That was our new love. You're not built on fantasy, but on truth, not full of promises, but full of effort. We didn't talk much about the affair anymore, not because we forgot, but because we had faced it. It no longer controlled our lives. It was part of our past, but it wasn't our future. One night, we stood on the balcony, watching the city lights. He said, "Sometimes I wonder why you didn't leave me." I answered softly, "Because I still saw the good in you, and I wanted to see if love was stronger than betrayal." He turned to me, held my face, and whispered, "I will never stop trying to be the man you believed in." We were not perfect. We still had scars, but we were honest, and we were growing every day. We chose each other again, not because we forgot the past, but because we believed in the future. I once thought healing would feel like light, like everything would suddenly be bright and beautiful again, but that wasn't true. Healing was messy. Some days, I felt strong. Other days, I felt broken all over again. I would smile at Jason one day and cry alone the next, but slowly, my heart was learning to breathe again. One morning, as I sat by the window with my coffee, I looked outside and smiled, not because everything was perfect, but because I finally felt okay being me again. Jason walked in, sleepy-eyed and quiet. He didn't try to kiss me. He didn't say much. He just sat beside me, wrapped his arm around my shoulder, and we watched the sunrise. We didn't need words. Silence was enough. At work, I started laughing again. Real laughs. the kind that make your eyes close and your stomach hurts. My coworkers noticed, "You're glowing, Emily," they said. "What's changed?" I smiled. "Me. I've changed because I wasn't just a woman who was hurt. I was a woman who survived, a woman who chose to keep loving herself, her life, and maybe, just maybe, Jason again." One afternoon, a young couple walked into my bakery. They looked so happy, so in love. It made my heart ache, but not in a sad way, in a hopeful way. I looked at them and thought, that used to be us, and maybe it can be us again. Not the same way, not the old love, but a new one, deeper, wiser, more real. That night, Jason and I danced in the kitchen. There was no music playing, just the sound of the oven and our soft laughter. He looked into my eyes and said, "I know I broke you, but I will never stop holding you until you feel whole again." I leaned my head on his chest. "You're not holding broken pieces anymore," I whispered. "I'm healing. And this time, I'm holding myself too." It wasn't about going back. We couldn't go back. That version of us was gone. But we could build something new, stronger, slower, more honest. We started writing little notes to each other again, not long letters. Just simple things. "I made your favorite tea. Don't forget your umbrella. I'm proud of you." Tiny words, but they meant everything. Healing isn't a straight line. It goes up and down, back and forth. But as long as you keep moving, you're healing. And we were moving forward, step by step. Together, forgiveness isn't easy. It doesn't happen all at once. And it's not something you do just once. You choose it again and again. Every time the memory comes back, every time your heart starts to ache again, you have to choose, do I hold on to the pain or do I let it go? There were days I still remembered everything. The night I found the messages, the way my chest hurt, the sound of my own sobs, but then I remembered something else. The look in Jason's eyes when he realized he might lose me. That look was real. That pain was real too. And I saw how hard he was trying. Every single day, he didn't just say sorry. He showed it in the way he listened, the way he respected my space, the way he asked before touching my hand. Little things, but they mattered. One evening, as we sat by the fire, he gave me a box. Inside was a journal, not new, but full. He had been writing in it for months. Letters to me, thoughts, regrets, memories. Page after page of his heart. I held it in my hands, tears in my eyes. I didn't know. I whispered, "I didn't want to push you." He said, "I just wanted you to know. You've never left my heart." Opened the journal that night. I read every word, and as I did, I saw a man who was broken, remorseful, and still deeply in love, and I felt something strange. Peace, not because everything was fixed, but because I finally believed we could grow something new from the pieces. At work, my friends noticed the difference. "You seem lighter," they said. "Did something happen?" I smiled. "Yes," I said. "I forgave him." "Are you sure?" they asked. "Can people really change?" I looked out the window, thinking of Jason brushing my hair away every morning, leaving fresh flowers on the table, waiting patiently when I needed space. "Yes," I said, "they can, if they truly want to, and if you truly want to believe." Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing love over anger, peace over pride, hope over fear. I didn't forget what he did, but I remembered who we were and who we could still become. That night, I looked in the mirror. I didn't see a broken woman. I saw a strong one who had walked through the fire and came out glowing. I had chosen to stay, not because I was weak, but because I was strong enough to try again, on my terms, with my heart open, but protected. 1 year later, I stood in the same cafe where it all began. The cafe where I once sat in shock, reading the messages that shattered my world. But this time, I wasn't broken, I was whole. Jason sat across from me, his hands wrapped around a warm cup of coffee. He smiled, not nervously, but calmly. We talked like old friends, like two people who had lived through something big and came out stronger on the other side. You know, I said, I used to think love was about perfection. No mistakes, no pain, just happiness. He looked at me, curious, and now I know. I smiled. Real love is about showing up, even after the storm. It's about choosing each other, even when it's hard. We walked home slowly, the autumn leaves crunching under our feet. The air was crisp, but my heart was warm. We didn't rush. We didn't pretend everything was perfect. We just walked together. Later that night, I wrote something in my journal. I want to share it with you. Dear me, you survived. You felt pain. You felt lost. But you found your voice, and you chose to live with your eyes open, your heart healing, and your future still bright. I'm proud of you. Maybe you've been hurt too. Maybe you've cried alone. Maybe someone broke your trust. But hear me now. You are not broken forever. You are learning, you are growing, and you are stronger than you think. Whether you choose to stay or you choose to walk away, make sure it's your choice. From your heart, because you deserve peace, you deserve love, and most of all, you deserve to feel whole again. Thank you for walking through this story with me. I hope it touched your heart. I hope it reminded you that even in pain, there is power, and in every ending, there's a new beginning. If this story helped you, please share it with someone who needs it, and don't forget, come back anytime for more English learning stories that touch your heart and help you speak with confidence. I'm so proud of you for practicing today. Take care of your heart. Keep believing in your strength. See you in the next video. My friend, bye for now.